mundane chores. Little do they know, it gets a lot more exciting than that. Well, either way, Scooter said, his face lighting up with excitement. This Halloween is going to be lit. I've already got my costume planned for. Scoot's voice trailed off, and when I followed his gaze, I saw what was that had made him shut down. Or rather, who it was. It shouldn't have surprised us to see Cole Kinston standing in the front yard of the mayor's house. It was his yard, after all. But it was a jump scare, nonetheless. Cole grinned when he spotted us, his mouth curling up on one side in a way that made my stomach turn. I always thought that if a Ken doll came to life and was animated by pure evil, it would probably look something like Cole Kinston. "Oh, hey, Casper," he called out to Scooter, who immediately shoved his hands in the pockets of his hoodie and stared at the ground. Scooter had always been self-conscious of his looks. He wasn't just the whitest kid in school, but the whitest kid I'd ever seen, with skin that was almost translucent and blonde hair that was one shade off from snow. His pale skin made his aggressive smattering of freckles that much more noticeable, and while no one would have said he was ugly, he hated the way he always stood out in a crowd. So it didn't help that Cole's chosen moniker for him was Casper the Friendly Ghost. "Shut up, Cole," I said, glaring at him. He just flashed me a grin of perfectly straight teeth and laughed. "Oh," he asked, blue eyes glittering in his tan face. "Are you gonna make me?" I rolled my eyes. Of course I could never get into it with Cole. The guy stood a head and shoulders taller than me and outweighed me by at least 30 pounds. So Scooter and I did what we always did. Ignored him and kept walking. Cole didn't care. As long as he could make our day a little more sucky, he was happy. He was never really looking for a fight. "See you around," he called after us as we continued our way down the sidewalk. "And cheer up, Casper. Halloween is almost here." "Don't listen to him," I told Scooter as we continued on, watching him as his pale face turned red. He just laughed it off. "Doesn't bother me," he said. But I could tell that was a lie, considering he barely said a word until we made it to my street. "I guess I'll see you tomorrow," he said as we went our separate ways, him continuing straight towards the trailer park, and me taking a left down Post Street. "See you then, Scoot," I replied, "and keep thinking about the haywalk." I rolled my eyes and waved him off. He was never going to let it go. The breeze picked up as I made my way down the long street towards my house. The leaves of the trees that lined the street were just beginning to turn yellow, with the slightest hint of orange burning on the edges of the fire maples. Fallen acorns crunched beneath my feet as I reached the driveway.